Waterloo region.
Before the Wilmot Wolverines started up, we had to have girls go elsewhere, or they played with the New Hamburg Huskies. But even with that, there weren't that many girls playing boys hockey in this area. So, in fact, I think the year before it was probably just over 20 girls were playing here. And yet when the first year we started Wilmot girls hockey, there were 76 girls, or 74, 76 girls. So a lot of girls were having to go away before we started the association. When they announced that they were going to have twin pads here, there was going to be ice the following year, I realized there was an opportunity to start an association. And I started talking to a few women that I had been involved with in boys hockey. I had been on staffs with and so forth, and there was a real interest in starting hockey here. I think the first conversation I remember having was with Val Sanderson during soccer, believe it or not, and I just found that we got a group together and we had the idea of starting the association.
The first conversations that I remember were probably took place on the soccer field, because the Pastrozny kids and my kids were both involved in that, and actually Michelle and I think we co-convened soccer one year, so just had lots of interaction with each other's families that way. So the seed was planted when we knew they were discussing a new arena, and you know, Peter was really, I think, the driving force who kept bringing it up again, and then we got our group together and had lots of good enthusiastic people to kind of get the ball rolling. I had been previously I had helped out with the Tavistock Association's executive, so I guess that's what I brought at the beginning. In fact, in that first year that we had the steering committee, I was still in my final year there, I was the president of that association, so you know, was hoping to sort of bring some of that experience, but really none of us knew how to get something going from the ground up, so it was a real team effort that way, I would say.
Actually, Peter Pastrozny gave me a call. We'd always said it'd be neat if we could have girls hockey, and when the arena was going in finally, that was a long process just till that happened. Peter called me and said, you know, hey, what do you think if we can get girls hockey started? You know, are you in? And I said, oh, definitely, because I knew there was girls around that wanted to play but didn't want to play with the boys. So
I thought it was a great idea. My daughter was playing boys novice hockey. They had a referee's room that they put the girls in to get dressed. They made do with what we had at the arena at the time, but didn't seem really ideal, and the thought that it'd be all girls league seemed like something I thought my daughter would enjoy. And I'd been coaching boys hockey at the time, so I thought it would make sense to, there's a lot of girls playing in boys hockey, and it just seemed like a logical fit. Ice time was at a premium. At the time we only had one arena, the arena that we're in right now, and I was part of the fundraising committee on the new twin pad that we were building, and again thought, you know, with the extra ice time, it would be a great idea to start the girls hockey league in the new arena.
I think what happened was when we knew the new arena was happening, we knew that the opportunity was there to bring it. We had two girls who were playing at the time with the boys here in New Hamburg, and I think with the extra ice time, we just knew that the opportunity was there to start a program, and so we stepped in and started looking into how we could bring girls hockey to New Hamburg.
And I had this idea that we would have a world-class hockey association, not just a hockey association. I wanted the best in class that I thought that we could create. And I had been involved with boys hockey for a long time, and I knew how things were organized with a board, and I had gone to some of their meetings. I was mostly involved as staffs, but we brought a committee together of some people that have been involved in hockey, on boys hockey, and even with some girls hockey, and we had to start right from the beginning. How were we going to organize? What kind of constitution would we have? How would the board be constituted? How did we even get started with being involved with the OWHA? There was actually a lot of work in that year before where we had to figure out the structure and incorporate and all that stuff. But there was also a lot of investigation on how you join the Ontario Women's Hockey Association. What did you have to do to have that first season? We had to contact the township about, are we going to have the ice? And luckily we did do that before the building was open. Otherwise we might have had real challenges there.
All of us just started meeting, and we just said, we put in an application into the OWHA that we wanted to be a new center, so they had to talk to the other centers to see who, are they, like, was Twin Center okay with us having a group, same with Tavistock and Kitchener-Waterloo and Stratford. So we went through that process, and then we decided to go through the process, like, to see how many people are really interested. So we did a big survey and had people do applications like, yeah, I'm interested. So we had about 120 girls respond saying that they were interested at that point, the year before we actually started.
There were a few people that had worked on other girls' committees and that before, so they had an idea of where we needed to start, and that was very helpful. So we weren't sort of starting absolutely green. We had a little bit of direction there. I think our biggest thing was getting the funding, getting the Trillium grant. We needed a lot of help filling in those paperwork and that kind of stuff, but I mean that was necessary to get those kind of monies to start the organization as well.
It took some money, and that some of us, like myself, contributed a little bit at the beginning, but we found we became fairly self-sustaining as we got interest from the community in fielding our first teams. I realized I was part of the New Hamburg Huskies, but the township involved Baden, it involved New Hamburg, it involved St. Agatha, it involved the communities around, and we knew we'd be pulling from all those communities to build a hockey association. So it had to be Wilmot. There was some debate about making it New Hamburg because it was New Hamburg Huskies, but we made the right decision in making it Wilmot. The Wolverines was part of our whole logo contest, in a sense, that we created to come up with the name and a logo, and we had quite a contest of some submissions on what our logos would look like, and that was actually a really neat process because we brought people in to look at it at one of the meeting rooms, and we publicized that we were looking for contributions to that.
I think some of the other names were, I think we had a Winterhawks. I believe we wondered about there might be a conflict with the Cambridge, I think that's Junior B at the time, maybe it was the Winterhawks, so we weren't sure if there's issues with that, having the same name as another organization. Oh, the Wave, I think, was one, some other W names. We had it narrowed down to 4, I think, before the vote, and then the Wolverines was the winner.
When we first heard Wolverines was what the teams were going to be called, we thought it was a great idea. We really liked the idea of the Wolverines. There was a naming competition. There was some, I remember one name that I won't say who, but one of the kids, Meg's age, my daughter's age, proposed that it should be the Rock and Roll Girly Girls. So there's a lot of funny names, there's some good names. Wolverines, I think, was nice because the colors for Michigan Wolverines were similar to what the Huskies were wearing at the time. And this area has a lot of Michigan Wolverines fans.
We had decided early on we wanted to be Wilmot, not New Hamburg. We made a very deliberate choice not to be associated with the boys. Just knowing the boys, had we done that and said, hey, boys hockey, will you do a branch of girls hockey? just knowing how things operated at that time, because there was some resistance from them about having girls hockey. There's some, very old-fashioned thoughts that girls should be playing hockey. And so we felt in order to keep our organization strong and have equal opportunity per se, that we should go with Wilmot, because we're representing our township of Wilmot, not just New Hamburg. And that made us feel proud. We're part of something new and exciting, and we're representing everybody in the area, not just the town of New Hamburg or the town of Baden or New Dundee or wherever. So
Wilmot opens the scoring 1-0. There's the original shot from the right wing and a big rebound.
Two full-time moms on a mission to talk about everything parents deal with on a daily basis.
Okay, so what do you do when your child has a meltdown? It's Vanessa and Melissa, Tuesdays at 7:30 on Rogers TV.
Love it. Boom. Fantastic.
Delicious. It was really sexy. You killed it.
French-Canadian fever dream. Or hate it.
I could still be chewing on that right now. You missed the point of the entire challenge.
Was a disaster.
It was horrible.
Tasteless. Dry as wood.
It was just a mush bomb.
No, this is an absolute fail.
Did you taste it?
This season, the judges turn it up. This should be a cakewalk for you.
No pressure.
Top Chef Canada All-Stars. New episode Sunday at 10 on Food Network.
Imagine struggling to breathe every day. To struggle facing thousands of Canadians like me who live with cystic fibrosis.
We've come a long way over the years, but there is still no cure or control for this devastating, fatal disease.
Every dollar raised brings us closer to a world without cystic fibrosis.
But we do need your help.
Support the walk to make cystic fibrosis history. Register yourself or pledge your support for a team of participants.
And help us find a cure for cystic fibrosis.
Pass in front. Loose puck. Oh, and they scores!
What I saw as we, had the kids playing was I would see some girls that I knew, I had seen them play with boys, and some of them, the confidence just grew a lot when they moved over to girls hockey. You'd see them carrying the puck more, and I felt like the girls had a better chance to develop into stronger hockey players sometimes, because the tendency, you play with some pretty good little boys that can skate like the wind, and so the tendency is you're passing the puck up to them all the time and maybe not taking that, okay, I'm going to go with it sort of attitude as much. But it depends. Some of the girls were quite successful with the boys teams for quite a while and stayed with it for quite a bit, but it kind of depends on each girl, I think, what appeals to them more.
Wilmot opens the scoring 1-0. There's the original shot from the right wing and a big rebound.
When it first started, to me, it was a completely different environment than boys hockey. Girls hockey was just a completely different game. It didn't seem like the fierce competition of we don't like that town, we don't like this town who we're playing against. It was everybody's just having a good time. The girls would sing in the dressing rooms before the game, and they'd have all these crazy cheers. They'd be cheering, and it was just, it seemed like it was just pure for the fun of the game.
Again, and are we gonna have a fight? Look out! Oh no!
I think for me, the benefit of it is there are so many girls playing now that would never have even considered playing if they had to play with the boys. Like I say, I have two that are playing, and one of my daughters was fine with playing with the boys. My youngest one played with them for 2 years, but I don't think she would have continued playing, and she's at her last year midget now with the girls. So I think just the fact that these girls can play, feel comfortable playing, and the number of them that actually are playing.
I guess if you want numbers, I'm pretty sure at the time in New Hamburg boys hockey there were maybe about 25 girls playing in that system, and we did an intent to register at the beginning where we had people fill out a form, and it wasn't a commitment to register, but it was to give us an indication, okay, how much interest do we have out there? And we immediately got 75 girls, and then I'm pretty sure by the time we were done with that process, we had about 120 that had expressed an interest, in the end, we ended up with about 75 actually registered. But it kind of tells you there's more girls out there that weren't playing in the boys' system. As soon as there was an opportunity, then they did join up. So, and it's been fun, really fun to see that grow from that initial number to, you know, we have got over 200 players now. So it's been a fun ride along the way to see that happen.
Was loved athletics, loved school, loved organization, loved music, pretty well-rounded. In terms of hockey, she loved playing hockey because girls hockey wasn't an option. She played boys hockey up until she would have been going into her midget, grade 10 age. And that's when she left boys hockey for Wilmot, and because the Wolverines hadn't started up yet, we were in the planning. She went over to Plattsville and played for the Rage.
First of all, and I would attribute this to Val Sanderson. Right from the beginning, she thought that it would be a good idea to have a tournament for some of our local teams, but also to bring people into the community. Unfortunately, there was also a tragedy at the time that many of us knew, Kyla Kowalik, and she had an unfortunate death, and so it turned into a memorial for her and for a young athlete that had passed away.
Well, Kyla originally had hurt her knee playing soccer for Wilmot. We finally booked her up for surgery, and she did have the surgery late October. And she came home the day after, and things were going fine, and she was due to start rehab on a Monday, and I was home. I wasn't working at the time, and I was just outside in the garage, and I heard her scream my name, and unfortunately I came running in the house, and I saw her falling back down the stairs going into the basement, and I quick called 911. She spoke a few words, and unfortunately she passed away there, and yeah, that was it.
So the fall, because word spread that she had died, and word spread that there was a fall, but it was a bilateral pulmonary embolism, so both sides, both lungs had clots in them, and that's why, that's how she passed.
Kyla passed away, and you know, we felt the tournament was just a really neat way to celebrate her life and her love of sports. And every year, her whole family comes out to help us with that tournament and help present awards. So there's Grandma and Grandpa, Mom and Dad, and both Carly and Reese, the siblings, are there. So it's been really special to me. We're one of the families that knew them quite well, and it's just been really neat to see the family involvement, and I think they really appreciate that we remember her every year, and you know, we want to celebrate, you know, what kind of a great girl that Kyla was, and you know, it's been really special that way.
The kids having the opportunity to play in a tournament like the Kyla Kowalik, you know, knowing who she was about, you know, she loved sports, she was a nice kid, she loved the community, and to have something that represents her, and we have so many kids that play in it now, and they have a great time. And it's a real testament about what she was about, and it represents what our association's about. You know, we've tried to think about all the players, not just specific groups, and I think that tournament is a good testament to that thought.
The Kyla Kowalik tournament's a great tournament. I've had my girls in it for over the last 7 years. I've been here watching it, and it's a great opportunity for the girls to get out and play in tournament locally. It's for a great cause. I know our team today had a good moment before the game to read the program and learn about Kyla and her background, and it was a great experience for the girls to appreciate what they have to do here with the girls hockey in Wilmot.
And it's especially humbling and such an honor because the people that are working and have worked so hard with this tournament and with Wolverines Hockey, you know, most of them knew Kyla and know our family, and so we really feel like it's our friends that are putting this on, and her memory, you know, exists, and the good that she did in terms of being a tissue donor. That's a theme of the tournament as well.
I've seen over the years different people being involved in the tournament, that it's quite a community event, I think. And we've even, every year we've donated to the Gift of Life for donation, organ donation in memory of Kyla. So I think it's not only a hockey event to me, it's also a good community event for a small town like ours.
Ontario Gift of Life is responsible for organ and tissue donation in Ontario, and so hopefully, you know, with this tournament and 10 years going, it's brought even more awareness to any of the visitors and competitors, because Wilmot has a very high number in terms of registration, but there are other areas in Ontario that still need some work, and so it's dear to our heart, because when Kyla tragically died, it gave us some hope that she could live on in others.
We often hear that you're a superhero. I could never do that. And we say to people, you could. All you have to do is to really be able to love kids. And they come in from all different backgrounds and scenarios, and love can change so many things. And so if you can love them, and if your kids can love them, if you have kids, then you can be a foster parent and you can do amazing things in their lives.
Hi, I'm here with Louise Porter.
Oh, I need help with my pressure cooker.
The first dish that we're going to do is we're going to do a blade roast. It's great done in a pressure cooker because it needs time. We're just going to put our lid on. And in just a minute, the safety valve is going to pop up.
And it did.
Just like so.
Magic.
So we're just going to take our little piece here, and it's just, oh yeah, pieces are breaking off already. This is what's so great about this.
Oh, it falls apart.
Mm-hmm. One more piece, because I know you're really hungry.
Gorgeous.
Your business is procuring harlots!
These she-hounds are a cancer on our city!
I have a boarding house for young ladies.
Give me your money and I'll make you a man.
Money is a woman's only power in this world. Have you no heart? For a harlot, that doesn't exist.
Won OWHA championship, as well as various lower lakes championships. But I think that will only continue on, probably even more in the future than it has been in the first 10 years.
The big thing that our season culminated in was the Provincial Championship. We ended up going 6-0 in the tournament, which gave us a gold medal. And at that time was the first provincial championship for the Wilmot Association. And I think to this day there's been quite a few other successes as well, but nobody's been able to get gold. They didn't really even realize what they were doing. They're 10-year-old girls, right? So they're just out having fun, want to play some hockey with their friends, and to accomplish what they ended up accomplishing, I don't think really was even a goal. It was just to go out, work. They ended up working really hard as a group for each other, and then it resulted in something special at the end.
Our house league teams also compete in a playoff, and we've had some of them win as well. And I think, I hope we continue to balance between developing good players that just can play at a house league or a competitive level. Because we are a smaller center, we tend to lose some of the players that will play at a AA level. I don't know if we'll ever get to playing AA or having a AA level here, but maybe we will at some point. But that tends to happen in the bigger centers.
And Wilmot's never really strived to be the elite of the elite. I mean, yeah, we try to field and ice the best teams that we can and compete as hard as we can. But at the end of the day, I think it's more of a recognition of, you know, giving the girls the exposure to a great game and enjoying it and sticking with it, hopefully.
As part of our 10th anniversary Appreciation Day, we unveiled our new logo, which happened to be, by a vote of 56%, our old logo. Like, our membership decided, we had a choice of changing logos, and we had some good proposals. We were going to keep the Wolverine name, but we were going to change the logo. But one of the choices was to retain the original logo, and the membership voted by 56% to keep that logo. So we did, and we freshened it up, though, a little bit. I think whether we had changed our logo or not, we needed to freshen up our jerseys. They were older anyway, and it's just, it was time to freshen it up and go into the future. And we needed a whole new set of jerseys anyway, and now we have 14 teams. We started out with that jersey just being on 4 teams, and we kind of added, and actually the colors weren't always right and so forth. So now, going forward, we'll have a uniform look, and I think it's a refreshed and modern look.
So that is your new jersey for next year.
And are we gonna have a fight? Look out! Oh no!
Call the Rogers TV viewer response line, email us, or connect with us on social media.
So I first started working with Jackson and Edison 4 years ago, and they are boys to the core. They're rough and tumble and ready to go, go, go.
Kids Ability has helped Jackson in a lot of different ways. When he was 2, he got his first walker through Kids Ability, and that was huge for him. And not only the equipment that's been facilitated, but just his gross motor without that equipment has become a lot stronger, sort of slowly over the years. Edison is doing really, really well. He's learned how to sit, learned how to crawl, learned how to walk. He also does a lot of different signs and gestures, and he really initiates a lot of different communications. And that communication piece is so important for their growth and their confidence, and just to make sure that their needs are being fulfilled. Kids Ability is just a really, really important part of our family's life, and it's such an amazing resource within our community. We're so, so lucky to have it.
I'm Matt, and I've been a Rogers volunteer for a year and a half. I started volunteering at Rogers TV